Landon Smith is a father, a professor, a poet, a painter, half Mende and half Balanta and Fulani. That feeling of falling that wakes you up in a dream. The amethyst geode on your desk. Angela Davis's afro. Frantz Fanon's pocket notebook. Walter Rodney's fingernail. The 710 bowling split. Your favorite pillow. Despite his institutional degrees, he really became a poet through the East Side Arts Alliance in Oakland. Hey, Landon thanks his older sister Alia for buying him his first journal, starting his ever-evolving relationship with words. You can often find him processing the world through poetry, and there's a book of poetry back there. I'm just saying, you can grab it. Let's give it up one more time.
My poetic influence is, as it was alluded to in Ida's poem, Amiri Baraka. I'm not going to read the whole poem because it's hella long, but if you have not heard or listened to Somebody Blew Up America, I would encourage you to. I'm going to read like the first part and then you'll see which parts influence mine. But, Somebody Blew Up America. They say it's some terrorist, some barbaric Arab in Afghanistan. It wasn't our American terrorist. It wasn't the Klan or the skinheads or the them that blows up nigger churches or reincarnates us on death row. It wasn't Trent Lott or David Duke or Giuliani or Schindler, Helms retiring. It wasn't the gonorrhea in costume, the white sheet diseases that have murdered black people, terrorized reason and sanity, most of humanity as they pleases. They say, who say? Who do the saying? Who is them paying? Who tell the lies? Who in disguise? Who had the slaves? Who got the bucks out the bucks? Who got fat from plantations? Who genocided Indians, tried to waste the black nation? Who live on Wall Street, the first plantation? Who cut your nuts off? Who raped your ma? Who lynched your pa? Who got the tar? Who got the feathers? Who had the match? Who set the fires? Who killed and hired? Who say they God and still be the devil? Who the biggest only? Who the most goodest? Who do Jesus resemble? Who created everything? Who the smartest? Who the greatest? Who the richest? Who say you ugly and they the good lookingest? Who defined art? Who defined science? Who made the bombs? Who made the guns? Who bought the slaves? Who sold them? Who called you them names? Who say Dahmer wasn't insane? Who? Who stole Puerto Rico? Who stole the Indies, the Philippines, Manhattan, Australia, and the Hebrides? Who forced opium on the Chinese? Who owned them buildings? Who got the money? Who think you funny? Who locked you up? Who owned the papers? Who owned the slave ship? Who run the army? Who the fake president? Who the ruler? Who the banker? Who? It's much longer. It's like 5 pages. You'll hear which part influenced that for sure. And I kind of wanted to switch up what I was going to do because Anthony and I kind of always vibe on the same frequency, and I was going to do part, and he did a poem where I was like, oh, I have a mind like that. But, it's all right, next time. There are 2 less feet in the tent this evening. Somewhere, a prison guard gives another closed fist speech about order. The air thins above a tent pole eviction notice while a new jumpsuit is handed to a tooth on a cement floor. Nikki Bass photo shoot next to gentrified housing while Noel Gallo votes to steal more Fruitvale money into patrol cars. Leach van ready to pile up bodies just to bleed corners dry for development while Gary Yee red tags another black school for prison bed construction. At least there will be clean street corners, a dirty mouth in a suit will say. At least there will be law and order. Dirt is always better when swept under a rug or at least onto the next encampment. And 3 tents blown on the other side of 580 will lower property value just for more protest signs to pop up and be ignored next week. But did you know there is no such thing as an empty bomb threat thrown at a black house? Greenwood and pine still can't move past the cement with marrow mixed in, so excuse me for taking white history seriously as I walk down these HBCU steps with the target on my back for what another white board member bans a book from speaking on. And another black mayor steps up to a podium to say, it is a shame. Or, in these troubling times. Or, We are better than this, despite all the evidence otherwise. As a matter of fact, who is we? Who be this we in backroom meetings? Who be the we turning the wheel on the ship? Who does we saying we are part of the problem, saying we do it to ourselves, saying we can't get respect until we respect ourselves? Who? Who does we coming sideways out your mouth talking about mo pay for leeches to put up see something, say something signs and turn around and pocket out bomb threats to black campuses talking about we better watch our back, we better hurry up and die, we better go back now that the labor costs more than the ground meat on my back? Who? Who does we supposed to be a part of? Who does we supposed to be better than? Sitting on the left side of an abandoned building because I took white history for what it is and spoke to the remains of the last threat, shoveled onto a whitewashed MLK quote, shoveled onto the left hand of a Philadelphia cut short, shoveled onto a Tulsa, a Rosewood, I am on pace to be called a nigger 212 times by summer. It is January, and there are only 10 days left in this month, and I refuse to be a corpse by the 3rd, but catch me fist closed on the 4th, and I might be gone by the 5th if this white woman in power has her way, which is the same as that white man in that seat, which is the same as that last missed check, which is the same as that eviction notice. My mother says the cloth of my ancestors makes me bulletproof. So I put on a new head wrap every time passive-aggressive headshots fire off of cradled tongues down into the gutters of unswept streets where I'm told that I belong. And I walk around with cash just in case I pass another cardboard sign, giving a fortune to crates just to see more hungry mouths the next month. It's almost like I cannot fix these encampments on my own, like starvation is intentional, like billions in surplus don't exist. Maybe by the end of this poem you can tell me what the cause is. While I kick 3 more election pamphlets off my doorstep since I don't do drugs on Tuesdays ever since my neighbor overdosed on Kamala Harris bumper stickers. Meanwhile, the city of San Francisco made $90 million in parking tickets. Just to not have affordable housing. Just to hire more pigs to put tickets on windshields, to pay for pigs putting tickets on windshields, and my last $60 goes to the cardboard sign again. You know, a fist fight is always fair to the waistband with a gun tucked inside. You know, an eviction is always fair to the feet standing on a bankroll. But my cousin told me that not all skin folk are kinfolk, so I keep 2 feet in my back pocket so I land on my feet when I'm sucker punched between line breaks and a neoliberal slides the judge lump sums to slide me into solitary silence so that a white tenured professor could tell you that these are not poems. That these are lyrics, that these are a soapbox, and that they are too unhoused and must cut their hair before they deserve a home. But did you know there are children in prisons? That was not a punchline. Sometimes I just like to interrupt poems with facts, like capitalism is a plague, or there's no such thing as a white South African, or there are too many white people walking dogs in my neighborhood. One had on a Yay Area shirt, called the pigs on me, said my hair is disturbing the peace. You know the first rule of Fight Club? Is don't listen to white men. And what good is a fight club that they never fought for the scars on my back? Took me 3 summers to find my voice. Had to use violence to do it. Preach violence for violence sake, then break the jaw of the softness nobody would listen to. And then, y'all consider burying me with my poems when I started to speak from a Lorraine motel balcony about the gun tucked under my tongue that I stashed behind the curtain, waiting on the next bomb, the next bomb. The next time a bomb shows itself at my doorstep, I will arm myself with thoughts and prayers. And the hot takes of white people, because ain't shit more violent. You know, imperialism, been walking with a hole in its leg the last 3 summers. Threw up flares about Cuba and China again. You know, this empire shit ain't gonna last anyway. And I got all gold teeth, so my poems would appreciate over time. So you would take my words more seriously. So you would Africom nightmare yourself to sleep in a rocking chair made from my great-grandmother's whittled bones. You know I talk to my childhood home on Sunday nights? Hoping I find a time where failure doesn't mean I'm 2 puddles under a tax-paid tower when my child learns to fail while being fatherless for the first time. I hope I left enough time in their poem to be a reason so that they keep trying. Warden cold pressed every fallen brick of my grandmother's home into my ashes before I left. And maybe I learned that violence only fails when violence fails. And I was never successful after all. And I only have enough love in my heart to fail this one last time. I'll leave you this poem in my will. A message that you have to be quicker when they come for you. I am ready to know home, wherever that may be, spinning Tracy Chapman records under my still body while clutching Walter Rodney and my rigor mortis fingerprint on my way to find peace somewhere. Florida back roads, talking to the skin on my upper back. Saying it got some leather for me if I don't keep moving. And on the wrong side of a train track, you might find my solitary body. Sundown sheriff caught a whiff of it, started unclipping holster, not knowing that in my left palm, I pack the souls of the field, but in my right, I shoot back at cops. Ain't no sunset long enough for the last breath in my left palm, so I sing blues spirituals. Before you ask me why I choose violence, I can't know peace yet. Not with this grass slicing ankle bones, Not with these worn down tires still begging for freedom, On behalf of the hands gripping my left palm, I have no choice but to back alley the backwoods, buried disposition between Polk County plantation fences, and I might dance tonight too. Cut a rug one time for the ones who cut bondage from their left leg to kick the bucket with their right. I stare this plantation pig in the face, knowing that to be invincible is to carry the souls of the field with me, and to tell that judge that I am not sorry, because talking to hope is dangerous. Especially when hope puts weapon to palm, dims the lights and can't see itself anymore. Decides freedom means finally returning fire. Pulling shells from the left hip and turning coots into a 3-course meal. Flicking scraps out of molars with a new appetite for finding freedom in one less uniform in the rear view. One less speech about the law. One less press conference about this land that breeds genocide every Monday morning from the breath of its latte, while hope gets pulled from its home by the toenail, asking itself why not shoot back. While peace gets pulled from hope's left bicep before the lights cut out, and the only body hope has left is the one picking bullets out of teeth. Thank you.